Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got David Brooks.
If I didn't disclose that to people, like, I've got an FPL on me, it's kind of like snitching in a way, like, well, you've just let the police in our front door. So, but I used to disclose it if I thought I was in the place, it might be a concern.
The police do that often. They go in people's houses.
Well, yeah, they knocked 3 times with force, and after the third time they kicked the door down, they're just in there. It's yeah, it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's an overkill. It's a thing of fear, and it's fear and intimidation. And it's also sells papers. The media love it. I'm not saying there is bad people amongst the whole culture. It's more of a modern thing, but that's what the clubs weren't about. They were about motorcycling initially. They weren't not. There was not one traditional club formed with criminal intentions. They didn't say, "Hey, let's just make up a mafia or cartel on wheels and go out and do this and that." But we're going to put flags on us and say who we are. They weren't formed for that, because if they did, it was a very stupid person to come up with the idea.
Yeah.
Or a very smart person who no one knows about and says, "Hey, all these guys will be me."
Yeah, but the law enforcement in Australia has taken a pretty hard stance against motorcycle clubs.
Very, very well. And I see for two reasons. This is getting back down the conspiracy side of things. Like when we had our COVID restrictions and that on, they bring out those laws to the general public. You can have more than 3 people in the car. So I think they test run those laws on us first. And it was it's a way of control. A way to because protests were banned in Australia and public assemblies and that. And so they just wanted to dismantle a formidable opposition to them first and test run it before they threw it out to the Australian public. I'm sure that's not the entire reason, but they've started placing and everyone that was kind of bad mouthing us and saying, "Yeah, you deserve it, 3 of us together." Well, guess what? It all happened to them in the COVID restrictions. The mum and dads that were getting pulled in and charged, and they saw firsthand some of the rough-handed tactics of the police, which, mind you, like for us that wouldn't again, we expected that, I would if a cop got me and threw me in, it was a bit rough. I wouldn't, it is what it is. You take it for what it was. But for the mums and dads out there, they saw firsthand how they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, if you're say you're riding with your bike and you have your patch on, what's the process that the cops go through to get your patch? Do they confiscate it?
Since I've left, I left in 2020 that world. But when I left, they couldn't just confiscate it. They couldn't take it off you, or they could trick you. Like there's a way that they could get off you. If you watch Sons of Anarchy, okay, and all those idiots were jumping in cars with their patch on in the motorcycle club, well, that's a no-no. So if they were trying to take you into custody for something, you'd have to remove your colours off, and then it would go into your property. Then they'd have it, but then legally they'd have to hand it back. But that's before. But once they outlawed wearing those colours, and that enters into a criminal investigation. Even though I mean, so it's confiscated. It's a ban, a contraband. Usually they get colours off members when they raid houses. So if they're raiding the house for drugs or for whatever firearms or whatever reason they come up with, and they find colours there, they'll take them, and they like to parade them for the media.
They'll display them with the guns and everything, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I've actually some of my friends when I was still active had that happen to them, and the colours went back to them after. The papers didn't show that, but it's like a trophy to them. It's because they know how much it means to a lot of the. It's like grabbing someone's sister, battering and shaking her in front of the camera. See, or like the terrorists do, put the people on the film to the west before they do what they do.
Yeah.
It's just look, we've got one up on you.
The perp walk, the perp walk.
Yeah, but you know what? Since leaving the world and you look back on things in reflection, contrary to what people think, I don't hate the police. Okay, I don't like them, but I understand they have a place in our world. They need it for things that they need it for, like to deal with crimes against innocent victims and women and children, and didn't need it for that. Once you actively hate them, I see you like you're undermining their capabilities. You put them down in your head, and you become complacent. If you think they're just a bunch of idiots, well, you're wrong, because those idiots have got the technology, the resources, the law, and this everything, and they could. You upset them, as I showed, in my little thing I done. I was quite deliberate. They'll have it in for you. You cannot win. The only way you can win is that you're aware of how they operate, what attracts them, and just do your best to not attract them. Yeah, there's not like no insect repellent you can wear to keep them away once they, like a mosquito. I wish there was, but the best way to keep them away is by being smart and don't be putting yourself out there doing stupid stuff.
Now, if you ride a motorcycle and you don't wear a patch, do the police still harass you?
Okay, well, actually, in the state I'm in now in Queensland, for a while, they went so over, like it's such an anti-police state about it. More than 3 motorcycles couldn't be seen riding together. Yeah. Even enthusiasts and social clubs and that, even veteran clubs were getting attacked by police, like the Vietnam veterans and that. Bunch of old ex-soldiers who ride together and that. Who's not an outlaw club. Even they were copying the brunt of a lot of my charges I had were criminal organisation charges, which I refused to plead guilty to. I refused. I said I'll plead guilty to these more serious charges if you take them off the table. I plead guilty to charges that carried 14 years to take these 7-year charges off the table. I refused. I still didn't. I didn't plead. I said no, because the minute I do that, it's that is me admitting I'm part of a criminal organisation, and I'll still say to this day that it's not a criminal organisation. There's criminals within there, and there's good people within there, but the whole clubs don't sit around, plot and plan and say,
Yeah, we're gonna kill this guy. We're gonna sell these drugs. We're gonna move these guns. It's not like that.
It's not like Godfather stuff, but the clubs started going that way. But you know what? Not the clubs. People got power in some clubs and got a lot of power, and they used the club for their agenda, for their business, because they had control over that. The club wasn't designed for that. Or you hear of all these clubs running money and drugs around the world. Do you think all the members get that? No, members pay dues. Members pay to be in those clubs. They pay weekly dues.
Yeah.
Why would you pay weekly dues to be if you're getting all this profit in your a criminal organisation? Why would you pay money to have police attention and to be investigated and to have your balls broken every week? With I had towards the end, I didn't have general duty cops. They wouldn't come near me. It was always task force. If I got pulled over in my car, we sit here and they go back to their car, lock themselves, and next minute it'd be 5 cars, 20 cops. Why would I pay money for that? It's yeah. And I was never a problem with it. What's the point if cops come? That's it. By turning it on and being aggressive, whatever, and it's not going to help. I'll just shut up, go through the procedure, and act calm. If you pose a threat to them, you're just going to get yourself tasered, shot, or roughed up. So it's just play the game. So yeah, it's a different world from that point of view. As I said, you are actively targeted. You sort out. I counted like 80 pullovers on my car in 1 year, where my car was pulled apart. I was strip searched. A lot of the times held at gunpoint. Have you ever had been strip searched in public? Plain view, anal, drop your pants into that. Yeah, they didn't care. And you know what? They didn't find one thing in one of those searches.
And they kept doing it.
They kept doing it. And you think I was going to carry stuff in my car after I've been searched twice, let alone, Yeah. So they done it, and they done it to intimidate me and hoping I'd slipped up and doing something they imagined I was doing. But the only offences I had done was the ones they created and set up. That's the only ones they could get evidence on, and allegedly I might have been doing this and doing that, but they couldn't prove anything. So they've created something to make that keep the story going. These bikies are big bad. They're negative for the society, but yeah.
Now, did you go to prison while you were in the club?
I went to prison. Okay, here's where it gets complicated with me. Okay, I went to prison for the club. I've been in juvenile homes and that when I was younger. That's a different story. That was just was wasn't even criminal shit. It was just anyway. But I went to prison for a club, and I left the club at that stage, and I kind of was between clubs. So I've gone in there pretty well with knowing that my former brothers in there would be a problem if I come across them, and
So you're in prison and you're not affiliated anymore. You got
well,
out.
I was in prison, and at that stage, I've removed it now. But I had a big 1% tattoo on my neck on the side. So even if I people in the clubs, oh, what club are you? As soon as they say that, they're like, but a lot of people knew who I was, because people in that you know each other, even if you're enemies in that. And if someone even was my enemy, I'd still have respect for the person they were. Like just because they had a different flag than me doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's just you know.
Yeah.
Either go for the Red Sox or whatever, and if that's your team. And people who watch baseball, the same kind of people. They enjoy seeing home runs hit. They enjoy, exciting winning. But I went there out of one club, and that one I would say I was out bad because they knew I was going to patch over. So there was and but Australian prisons, New South Wales, they separate different Met clubs. They put them to different prisons, and so if you're in a certain club and you go to such and such prison, they keep you in segro, in like solitary and that, until they move you to a prison. That's the remand centre in the main one in New South Wales is certain clubs, and so whenever I got initially arrested, I'd sit down, and there'd be a whole row of cells of with all different people from different clubs. So you actually got to talk to you networked in there, except you didn't see the ones that were you had problems with, because they separated that. So I went into prison and stuff, knowing, because I didn't go to what you call in America PC or that. I stayed in the main with general population, and it's not a very nice feeling walking around every day knowing that someone might come through that door that's got a problem with what you're part of, not with who you are. It's not personal, but yeah. And every time I started to get into the room and get complacent, I used to say to myself, "You idiot, don't get complacent." You'd have to deliberately, because complacency kills. So you have to be aware, and you get through it. It's not a very pleasant experience, and I don't care who a person says they are. If they can go through that and be blasé about it, then there's something not right with them in the head.
How do you leave the club while you're in prison? Do you call them and tell them?
No, I didn't leave in there. I left before, like I'd gone before, and yeah.
And what did you do? Can you walk me through when you left? What did you tell them? Did you hand in your patch? Like,
well, that was one of the times where they'd kind of asked for it for a couple of, like, it wasn't removed from me, but that was a perfect opportunity as well. My house had just been raided by the police this day. My kid taken off me, my 6-month old baby taken from me by warfare during this raid. My house stripped apart, locked and boarded up, and I had no charges or nothing. And they're telling me I'm talking to the person, telling me to go to the church, or called Church of Meeting that night. I said, "Are you serious? I've just lost my kid. My house is locked up. Oh, no, I'm not coming." And it was like, "You better come." I was like, "No, I'm not coming." I just well, I was homeless from there, so I just went and stayed out of town, out of sight, and there was a few messages backwards and forwards. Yeah, you're this and that, and like bad words. And I thought, no. Anyway, then I went approached another club, or they've approached me, whatever. Had talks, and then it was just roller coasted. So if I kind of just stayed away and didn't worry about any clubs and just stayed out of it, I probably would have had a better outcome. But I thought I was back in my. I love to walk that lifestyle, whatever, and I was stupid. I should have just stayed out of it. And instead, ultimately I made problems worse for myself.
So then the
And
next club you join, is it an enemy club of the one that you were in?
pretty well was, but then they, with me, like they kind of talked to get me stitched up by the first club and punished. It's weird. I won't go too much, but it's very. I'll give him credit. It was very cunning and conniving. And I'm not blindsided. Often I don't walk. I'm pretty aware, and I can see a play coming a while away, but I walked right into this one. But yeah, but I got through it, and then I went back. Stayed with the second one for a while, but like in the end there was a little bit of tension. But you know what? I maybe I broke a rule or two as far as substance abuse or something. But when I was fed out with it, there was no particular reason, and the only thing I can think the was over. There was some politics, and someone's making the play because I haven't just sat down and just been a sheep on a seat, and fight, like I've tried to take initiative and stuff, or someone's bring my use of I wasn't an IV user or anything, just amphetamines and taken either smoked or orally or eaten or snorted, whatever.
Keeps you up, right? Keeps you up so you can ride.
It does, and it's what a lot of people do, but that was used. I think that was used to kind of sink me, and if it was, well, fair enough, okay. But the ones I guarantee the ones that used it to sink me were doing the exact same thing. It's it's one of those ones where you're partying with brothers or whatever, but they've got something on you, and you've got something on them, and it's it'll be pulled out. People will pull it out. I won't do it. I've seen people use drugs that's not like I'm sitting on the slows and the opiates, which is highly scorned upon. I've shut my mouth because that's their business,
Yeah.
Unless it's going to bring me right down with them, I'll speak to them. Listen, bro, I'll pull up in hand, bringing me into it. I won't go run into the saying, "Hey, such and such," but it does happen. But I accept whatever's happened. It's like there's no point being dirty on it, and I did do the offences, like yeah. So what can I say? It was a gift. Me leaving that world was a gift.
So when you finally leave the next club, what's that like? Can you walk me through that?